How long should you stay in no contact? I'll give you the answer right away. It depends. Well, I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to like and comment. Bye-bye. It's obviously, of course, it depends, and I can't give you an exact number. I'll give you a number. Towards the end, don't worry, you'd have a number. But more importantly, I'll explain you why it's so hard to give you a number and why I'm so critical about those 90-day rules or 30 days rules like it's something set in stone. I'll explain everything after the jingle.
IGetMyExBack.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.
You have an addiction, my friend. You have an addiction. It's something that I read recently. You activate, heartbroken people, they activate the same areas in the brain than drug addiction. So I wrote them down: the ventral tegmental area, the caudate nuclei, and the nucleus accumbens. If you know them, well done. But it's basically the same neurotransmitters and the same areas in the brain that are linked with drug addiction. And what's going on right now is that your brain responds exactly the same way as addicts going through withdrawal from cocaine or heroin. Cocaine and heroin is like exactly the same area in the brain. So it's really, we're talking about like hard drug here. And so you are focused on your ex. That's why you are focused on your ex, on the drug. And that's why you get those feelings of craving, right? And if you realize that you actually have a drug problem, then you'll see that the solution is different, right? Then you see that why you behave this way is because of that addiction. And so staying in touch is basically getting you that fix, you know, the lack of contact with the person, and you feel, if I don't get that fix, I'm not going to be able to focus. It's going to disturb my sleep, the appetite, because anxiety, lethargy, crying spells depression, all these kind of things. And so you simply getting your fix, getting in touch with your ex, talking with your ex. And to some extent, it's exactly the same when you spy on their social media. People will tell me, no, it's just out of a reflex, it's just a habit. No. It's definitely not neutral. When you look at their story, when you look at their pictures on Instagram or on Facebook, you're getting that fix. Don't lie to yourself. That's what you're after. Okay? So the lack of contact gives you those symptoms. And so in order to fight those symptoms, you get that fix. But the problem with staying in touch, and I see 5 major problems. It creates, first of all, a cognitive dissonance. You're in touch with them, your mind is still in the relationship, but in reality, you're not together. And so you basically nurture this idea, this dissonance, and that creates a lot of anxiety. Because on one hand, your mind, your brain thinks about you together, but you can't have it. And you have this inner battle within your head. The second reason, and it's extremely important as well, is it sort of reinforce the idea to your ex that you're okay with that situation. Right? They don't feel like you're suffering because you pretend that you're okay with the situation, obviously, if you're in touch with them. And so they feel like, oh, I broke up with him or her. I mean, he's fine being in touch. I'm not investing in the relationship. I'm just staying in touch because, you know, I feel bad for him or her, or maybe he provides me emotional support and I use that person. But as it is, I'm fine with that, you know. And if they're fine with that, how can you step outside of this situation? The problem with when you're in touch with your ex is you can't focus on you. You focus your attention on the conversation, on what you're going to say, on the things you're going to do, or the things you, or when they're going to text you. And again, it's extremely harmful in a sense if you want to really work on your breakup. The fourth thing is you cannot change the perception of the situation. You know, if you're in touch with your ex, if you're their buddy, how can you change, as I discussed before, how can you change their perception? And the fifth one, which is actually the pragmatic one, because I'm a pragmatic person, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work, otherwise you'll be together. Okay? Staying in touch with your ex indefinitely after a breakup doesn't help you get back with your ex. If you want to get back with your ex, something needs to change. Okay, it's common sense. I'm not reinventing the wheel. You probably knew it already, but you need to remember this. Something needs to change. When you're in touch with your ex, nothing changes, right? And you don't realize that because you're craving for that. You're craving for that drug. You want to get that fixed, but you forget to realize that something needs to change. Okay, but how long? Okay, I gave you the number. It needs to be at least a month. Why do I say a month? By experience, when it's shorter than a month, you don't really create the right condition. You can still have tension and resentment after 3 weeks. After 4 months, things are the pressure has settled down. And the other thing that makes me think 1 month is okay is like studies, it depends on the studies, but studies usually say it takes 28 days to change a habit. So if you need to work on yourself, you need to change something in your life, it needs anyway 28 days at least. Remember that it takes between 3 and 6 months for people to move on. And so having a 3 months no contact, if you go up to 3 months, you're not going to risk them forgetting you. Okay? The 90 days, 120 days, honestly, I don't know. It really depends on you. And I'll explain you what it means when I say it depends on you. I do believe that if you reach out after a month, there's no risk. I'll tell you why. If you reach out after a month, people will tell me, oh yeah, but I will come across weak. And I've heard this feedback many times, like, yeah, but if I break no contact, I'm gonna come across as weak, as needy, and stuff like that. Of course, it's better if your ex reaches out, okay? And if you've been 1 month of no contact and you're happy to do another month, do another month. But my point is, and I've seen that not a lot, but a few times, where people will call me a year after they broke up. And no news. I was in no contact, I'm still in no contact, I'm waiting for my ex to reach out. But the problem is then it's really risk management. My job is I'm a risk management guy. The risk is that actually your ex is also waiting for you to contact them. And after 6 months, they'll be like, well, okay, I've tried. I've waited and he clearly is not interested because I wanted him to show some form of interest. And so you miss the opportunity by not testing the water. You can come across as weak if you do the following. If you contact them too soon, as we discussed, less than a month. If you bombard them with messages, you break no contact, you tell them how what's up, how they've been or stuff like that. Don't overthink that text. If you have any question about what to send, ping me on WhatsApp and I'll help you. But you shouldn't overthink about this. But if they don't answer, don't spam them with messages. And if you get into a conversation, don't bombard them. You take your time. The other reason you will come across as weak is if you're not sober, if you're still addicted to them. And the reason is that will create some mistakes and emotional reactions. Okay, if you're still in that relationship, if you still have this resentment, if you're still angry at them because they decided to end things, the way you will communicate with them will be different. Okay, and your reaction that's going to be very emotional will be different, and they will see it, and that will prevent you from getting back with your ex. So no contact is a rehab, and same as any sort of rehab, you have to get that healthy relationship with that product. So you can break no contact if you manage to be more stable, more balanced, because there's a likelihood that they don't reply or they reply negatively. And don't get me wrong, the reason they would reply negatively or they don't reply is not because you broke no contact too soon. Okay? It has nothing to do with that. So don't be scared that if you break no contact after 2 months, oh, they're not replying because I broke no contact too early. That's bullshit. it's just because they're not interested, because they moved on for good, because they don't want to hear from you, because you've hurt them so much, and it's hard for them to forgive you. For many reasons, they would ghost you, or they would give you a negative answer. In that case, you do another no contact, and maybe longer than the first one, and you wait. But it's a very, very bad sign. Don't get me wrong. And so you have to be sure that you're emotionally detached from the relationship when you break no contact. And you have to ask your question, if you've done the work to feel more secure, regardless of the future outcome. And whether it's going through therapy with someone like myself, or perhaps it's obviously not the same impact, reading about your attachment, learning about the different area of self-development in your life. How can you put yourself in a different situation where you stop being obsessed by your ex? Well, you will know when you'll be in a happy place, because sometimes I ask this question, very often I ask this question, are you ready to break no contact? And people tell me like, no. And when that's the case, okay, let's wait for a week or two. And when people tell me yes, then I always challenge them and assess whether you're ready to break no contact. Because obviously it's a leap of faith, you don't know exactly what's going to happen. But to answer the question of this video, I would recommend you to wait at least a month to break no contact and assess whether you're ready to break no contact. If you have any other question, anything you want to know, you have few links below in the description. If you want to get in touch with me, if you want to ask me questions, and other than that, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
For a long time, get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer.